Callisto and Arcas. After Phaeton's disaster, Jove was repairing the earth, clothing the burnt lands again with life. But even such a labour of love, so urgent, has to yield to one even more urgent. And there she was, the Arcadian beauty Callisto. He stared. Lust bristled up his thighs and poured into the roots of his teeth. She wasn't the sort that sat at home, her eyes in a daze, on the whirl of a spinning wheel or a mirror. She loped along with the huntress Diana, her tunic pinned with a bold brooch, her ponytail in a white ribbon, and in her hand a bow or a javelin. Of all Maenalus nymphs, she was Diana's favourite. But favourites have to fall. The sun was well past noon when this girl came in under the massive, cooling columns of a virgin forest. She slackened her bow, and setting her quiver as a pillow, flung herself down among the anemones, on the sun-littered floor of the woodland. And that is where Jupiter spotted her, defenceless, drowsing, languid. A wonder, he breathed, that my wife need never disturb, or if she happens to, the price will be worth it. Callisto woke to a voice. Above her, Diana's perfect double, gazing down, was speaking to her. Best loved of all my virgins, where did you hunt today? On which ridges? Down which valleys? The girl sat up, astonished. O goddess, O my divine mistress, greater than Jupiter, and I don't care if he hears me. Jove smiled secretly behind his disguise, delighted to receive more adulation than himself. He stretched beside her and kissed her. A kiss more than maidenly, that roughened. A kiss that, as she tried to answer him, gagged her voice, while his arms tightened round her, straight-jacketing her body, and his action revealed the god, irresistible and shameless. Callisto's piety had limits. She fought. If Juno had seen how she fought, her final cruelty might have been modified. But it was no good. Desperately as she denied him, the god of gods went off home contented, as if from heavenly bliss to heavenly bliss. The girl wept. Suddenly she hated the forest, the flowers that had watched while it happened. She was in such a hurry to get away, she almost abandoned her bow and her quiver. Diana, coming along the ridge of Maenalus, with her virgin troop after hard hunting, saw her darling and called her. Callisto's jumpy terror of Diana's likeness grabbed with electric hands, and she bolted, but then recognized her friends, the virgins who ran with the goddess, and knew this could not be Jove, so she joined them. But changed now. How hard to keep guilt out of the face. She no longer led the troop, was no longer the boisterous nearest to the goddess. She hung back, eyes to the ground, as if slinking along from hiding to hiding. If any spoke to her, she blushed, then paled. Without her divinity, Diana could not have missed the 1,000 human tokens that were no puzzle to the nymphs. 9 months passed. Finally came the day, heated with hunting under the hot sun. Diana led her company into a grove, with a cool stream over smooth pebbles. "Here is a place," she called, "where we can strip and bathe and be unseen." The Arcadian girl was in a panic. The rest were naked in no time. She delayed. She made excuses. Then all the others stripped her by force, and with shrill voices exclaimed at her giveaway belly that she tried pitifully to hide with her hands. The goddess, outraged, cried, "Do not defile this water or us. Get away from us now and forever." Meanwhile, Juno had seen everything. She was merely waiting for an occasion to exact the exemplary punishment. The moment Jove's bastard was born, a boy, Arcas, her fury exploded. She stared in wild hatred at the new infant. "So," she screamed at Callisto, "the world can see you have perfected your insult and my shame. Now see me perfect my revenge on this beauty of yours that so unbalanced my husband." She grabbed the girl by the hair above her forehead and jerked her down flat on her face. As Callisto lay there, pleading for mercy with outstretched arms, those arms the god had caressed, suddenly bushed thick with black hair. Her hands curved into scoops of long talons. They had become feet. And her mouth, that Jupiter had kissed in his rapture, was fanged jaws, like a torn-open wound. Then, to empty her cries of their appeal, the goddess nipped off her speech. Instead of words, a shattering snarl burst from her throat, a threat. Callisto was a bear. Yet her mind was unaltered. Her lament was the roar of a bear, but her grief was human. And though there were a bear's forepaws that she raked at heaven's face with, her despair over Jove's ingratitude, though she could not speak it, was a girl's. Afraid of sleeping in the woods, she crept into the gardens of what had been her home. Often she galloped for her life, hearing the hounds. Often she labored, gasping, hunted across the hillsides where she had hunted. Sometimes she forgot what she was and hid from the other creatures. As before, above all, what this bear feared were the bears. She also feared the wolves, though her own father was out there among them, one of them. Meanwhile, Arcas grew to his 15th year. He knew nothing at all about his mother. Hunting was his passion. One day, after choosing the ground carefully, reckoning with the wind and with the lie of the land, Arcas had pitched his nets among the scrubby coverts of Erymanthus. As he started the drive, of a sudden, out of the long grass, his mother reared upright to face him, standing tall to see him better, fearless, as if she recognized him. She recognized him. Arcas backed slowly, mouth dry. Terror, 3 parts wisdom, staring fixedly at the eyes that stared at him. But when she dropped on all fours, and he saw her shaggy shoulders humping through undergrowth towards him, he could not think what this great beast intended if not to kill him. He braced himself behind his spear to meet her momentum and drive that long, keen ground blade as deeply into her body as he could. Jupiter saw it all. He stooped from heaven and blocked the bronze point with his finger. Then spun mother and son up in a whirlwind. So these two, about to be reunited in that bloody crime and tragic error, found themselves far out in space, transformed to constellations, the great Bear and the Small, dancing around the pole star together.